ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1 and Text 9. Tatra Anjasa Ayushman Tatra Anjasa Ayushman Bhavata Yad Vinishchitam Bhavata Yad Vinishchitam Pumsam Ekantataha Shreyaha Pumsam Ekantata Shreyas Tat Naha Samsitum Arhasi Tannaha Samsitam Arhasi Tatra Anjasayushman Bhavata Yad Vinishchitam Pumsam Ekantata Shreyas Tannaha Samsitam Arhasi Tatra Anjasayushman Bhavata Yad Vinishchitam Pumsam Ekantata Shreyas Tannaha Samsitam Arhasi. You can repeat. Ayushman Bhavata Yad Vinishchitam Pumsam Ekantata Shreya Tannaha Samsitam Arhasi. Somebody from this side. Tatra Anjasayushman Bhavata Yad Vinishchitam Pumsam Ekantata Shreya Tannaha Samsitam Arhasi. Tatra thereof Anjasa made easy, Ayushman blessed with a long duration of life, Bhavata by your good self, yet whatever Vinishchitam ascertained, Pumsam for the people in general, Ekantataha absolutely, Shreyaha ultimate good, that Naha to us, Samsitum to explain, Arhasi deserve. Translation: and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us in an easily understandable way what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general. Please repeat. Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us in an easily understandable way what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. Jai Sri Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita, worship of the Acharya is recommended. The Acharya and Goswamis are always absorbed in thought of the well-being of the general public, especially their spiritual well-being. Spiritual well-being is automatically followed by material well-being. The Acharyas therefore give directions in spiritual well-being for people in general. Foreseeing the incompetencies of the people in this age of Kali, or the iron age of quarrel, the sages requested that Suta Goswami give a summary of all revealed scriptures, because the people of this age are condemned in every respect. The sages therefore inquired of the absolute good, what is the ultimate good for the people. The condemned state of affairs of this people of this age is described as follows. Dasansta Bhaktivedanta Purpoto Majnanatimiram Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Veshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the sages of Naimisharanya, they have elected Suta Goswami as the speaker, because Suta Goswami has heard the message, the Vedic wisdom from Vyasadeva, and by his humility and seriousness, he has advanced in spiritual life. So, as soon as the Suta Goswami is seated on the Vyasasana, the great sages are inquiring from him, Tatra Tatra Anjusa Ayushman. Ayushman means may you be blessed by many years. They are wishing good for the speaker first. Because if the speaker is good, then rest of the things will be good. So Tatra Tatra Ayushman. Then Bhavata Yad Vinishchitam. Vinishchitam means what you have ascertained. What is your conclusion? About what? Pumsam Ekantata Shreya. Pumsam means all of us, a living entity, particularly a human being. Ekantata means exclusive or ultimate good. Shreyaha, actually Ekantata means absolute good. Shreyaha means ultimate good. So they are asking, what did you conclude on this? We want to hear what you have ascertained about what is the ultimate good for human being. Then they are saying, they are further requesting, Tamnaha samsitum arhasi. So that Anjasa, there is a word called Tatra Tatra Anjasa. Anjasa means you make it easy. So they are requesting the sage Suta Goswami that you make it little easy and explain to us in an easily understandable way what is the ultimate good for a human being. See, this is an interesting question. Why they are asking Suta Goswami to simplify? Because the Vedic literatures are very vast and there so much of knowledge is there, certainly, but for a common person, particularly in this age, to go through all of that and to decide what is good, it is not easy. You may say, why in this age especially, why it is been requested like this? We will see in the next shloka what are the symptoms of this age. What are the various symptoms? For example, how people they live very short lives in this age. So we will have very little time, and that time is also fully busy. We all have to run around just to get the basic necessities of life, just to get little food and a few more facilities. Actually, the material necessities means there are 4 categories. All our material necessities, every day when you wake up until we sleep, these are the 4 activities that are going on. One is the eating. Eating is important. Every day everybody has to eat. So we eat 3 times, breakfast, lunch and dinner. In between, maybe one snack, in the evening snacks, around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or in the night we can have little milk, hot milk. Hot milk is very good before sleep. If you have little cold, you can put little turmeric and then eat. Actually, eating has to be regulated. We should not go on eating throughout the day. We should give some rest to our mouths and stomachs. We should allow it to do its duty. If you go on eating, then stomach also won't get time to digest properly and to rest. So your last meal should be before 7 p.m. That should be your last meal. After that, you can only take 1 glass of hot milk before you sleep. This is what Ayurveda says. So, unfortunately, even this eating is also not regulated. Particularly, let us say, breakfast or lunch or dinner, the Vedic system is that we should sit on the ground like this. We should sit on the ground and then we should eat breakfast or lunch or dinner. It's a proper meal of our day. So particularly our food should be offered to God, Krishna, and then that prasadam we should sit down nicely and then take one morsel and then you have to chew and enjoy. One problem in this life, fast life, is that we are not even enjoying what we are supposed to enjoy. There could be wonderful items in front of us, but still we are not enjoying. Why? Mind is thinking something. We are still looking into the mobile, we are reading something, one WhatsApp message, one video, and then if that WhatsApp message is little negative, then what we are eating also will not go inside. Why so much anxiety? happily you keep aside all these things and honor prasadam happily, nicely. Recently, they have done some research and now they have figured out that if you eat and drink water also while standing, the chances of cancer are very high. Can you see? Our Vedic system is so scientific. It always says whether you want to drink water or whether you want to eat. Sit down, peacefully you sit down and then eat. Even on the chair is also okay. The best is to sit like this. How you are sitting now, best is to sit like that, and then there is a plate. If you want, you can have a small table like that and the plate is there and then you can eat. Your digestion will be very good and happily keep away all these mobiles and everything. Before honoring prasadam, pray, chant mantras so that you are focused on God and then eat your food. See, this is life. Real enjoyment means food is a big enjoyment. So, 4 activities are there for the human being. That is eating. The next one is sleeping. Now, if you analyze in a day of 24 hours, actually we spend quite a bit of a time for sleeping. Almost 7-8 hours it will go, right? But actually, as you practice spiritual life, you can manage in 5-6 hours. 6 hours will be maximum enough. Okay, in case you are little not well, maybe afternoon time you can take 1 more hour. See, these are all these details are given by the great devotees. They want our spiritual well-being. And see, when you come to the spiritual well-being for spiritual life and for a spiritual class, your material well-being is also taken care. See, now today how many things you came to know about eating? Now then sleeping. Sleeping also, the golden formula for sleeping is please sleep before 10 p.m. This is the golden formula. Particularly 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. is the most ideal time for sleeping. And after 10, the sleep becomes more and more diluted. And if it crosses 12 o'clock midnight, say around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, you don't even feel like sleeping. Mind will be completely energetic. And then you think, okay, what is the necessity actually to sleep? But actually sleep is very much required, and particularly for enhancing our spiritual life. So, here it is meant, the sages are asking the Suta Goswami, kindly tell us what is Shreyas. There are 2 types of benefits in our life. One benefit is called Preya, prayas, and one more benefit is called Shreyas. Now, prayas means immediate enjoyment, and that is called prayas. Shreyas means ultimate enjoyment, ultimate benefit. For example, small children are there. They like to play whole day. If you give a chance to them, they'll play whole day. They may not even want to come for lunch or any of the food also. If they're absorbed in play, they don't even bother about any of those things. Like that they will be. But the parents are concerned. Day after day, you're only playing and playing and playing. What about your education? Tomorrow when you grow, then you will have responsibilities. You have a family to take care. You have a contribution to the nation. There are so many things. So then you should go for education. This only parents will come to know. The child will not understand. The child thinks immediate playing and immediate enjoyment is the goal. But the parents know, no, this is not the actual this thing. You control little bit of your play now, so that tomorrow when you grow, you have a good education, then you can settle down nicely in your life. So similarly, for a human being, what is the ultimate benefit? This is the question they are asking. Ekantata Shreya. My dear Goswami, please let us know what is the ultimate good for a human being. And that too, they are saying, you make it easy. Anjasa. Easily understandable way, you please explain to us. So for a human being, what is ultimate good is, the one has to understand what is a human being. Surprising. We have to understand what are we. If somebody is inquisitive about to knowing himself, then that's the beginning of ultimate good. This is called Brahma Jijnasa. There is a Jijnasa, inquiry. Jijnasa means inquiring nature, questioning nature. It's good. But it should be towards Brahma Jijnasa, to understand about the Brahman. So now, what is this Brahman? Brahman is also known as Atma. So Bhagavad Gita says, actually a human being, that means all of us, we are actually not these bodies, but we are actually spirit, soul. We are Atmas. Now, how is this? How do we understand this? Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, the quality of the body is that it continuously changes. Dehino asminada dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. In this life only, you can see that our bodies are continuously changing. Once upon a time, all of us, the grown-up people, we were once upon a time small children. You would have seen some small, old pictures of yourself. You will be seeing, in fact, if you see your school-going pictures, you will feel, it's me. Actually, that's, so when you say, is it me? So you have to see that what has changed is the body. But you, as a spirit soul, you never change. Krishna, first time in the human society, he first time revealed this knowledge that there is something which is unchanging in us, and that is called Atma, and there is continuously changing, and that is called body. So first time the Lord has drawn distinction between something which is permanent and something which is always changing. Our bodies are changing every day. Not even every day, every moment. Every moment. This is a proven fact even in MBBS, even in the medical science. They say every moment, hundreds and thousands of cells inside this body, they die. But thousands and thousands of cells also takes birth. New cells are forming, old cells are dying and going away. This phenomena is going on every moment. So that means body is continuously in a flux. Although we may see a stable person in front of us, inside this body, a lot of things going on, changing. This is the fact that Shastra is explaining. So this is the truth. But inside this changing phenomena, the Shastra is saying there is a soul. There is a person inside, and that person is eternal permanent being. Atma has no birth and no death. Body has a beginning and death. See? So that means the conclusion is that when the body dies, Atma doesn't die. It moves on to the next body. How is that? Actually, we will see in Bhagavad Gita, as long as the Atma has a desire to enjoy in this world, as long as it has ambition to achieve something in this world, till those desires are fulfilled, bodies will be given to us one after another, one after another, one after another. As long as we have desires to achieve something in this world, Krishna is very kind, God is kind, He gives us innumerable opportunities. Lord is not cruel to throw us into some eternal hell and say, that's it, you live here. No, He gives you ample opportunities till we turn towards Krishna. That turning towards God, that is called Shreya. That is the Shreyas. Pumsam ekantata Shreya. When will a human being's life will become fortunate? When he turns his attention towards Narayana Krishna. See? Actually, God is always there in our body. He is waiting and waiting and waiting for us to turn towards Him and then see at Him. But we are not looking at God. We are looking at various types of varieties that are present in this world, and we are thinking whether this variety will make me happy or that variety will make me happy, and that is called preyas. We are always looking at immediate satisfaction, immediate gratification. But actually, because I am Atma, I am spirit soul, I am happy only with permanent things. Now this is the point that we have to understand. Atma wants permanency. Body is not permanent. This conflict within us actually doesn't make us satisfied. We are always dissatisfied because of this conflict. Body is temporary, but we want permanency. Where will you get permanency? Where will you get permanent enjoyment? Where will you get permanence? See, so anywhere we see, we look at this variety, we look at that variety, but where is permanency? There is no permanency, so continuous agitation is there in the heart. That we call it as anxiety and this. Actually, the root cause of anxiety is this. This is the secret of anxiety, if you all want to understand how anxiety works. Anxiety comes when you focus on something changing. There is no guarantee, there is no permanency, there is no control. Anxiety comes when you focus on something on which we don't have control, we don't have permanency, something which is changing. That creates anxiety to us. Let us say we do some business, some kind of a new business or a new deal, and ultimately nobody can really say how the things will change, and so you will be in great anxiety whether this will be successful or not. Isn't it? Every one of us will be in great anxiety because human being doesn't have control on too many factors. We have control on only some few factors. So we'll see in Bhagavad Gita there are a lot of formulas for this, how we have to work without anxiety. We will come to that slowly. Particularly when you are working, focus on where you have control so that you are free from anxiety. You leave the result in the hands of God. You should know, my Lord, I am doing my duty. My duty is what I can do. But there are many other things are there which are not in our this thing. For example, let us say we have started this project, right? And then our project is so to say, so big and so glorious. The Honorable CM has accepted to come, and he did the Bhumi Puja, and he is so impressed. He said, Swamiji, I will give you 25 crores. we're all in cloud 9. And then after 1 week, 10 days, elections have come. The CM is no more. See, everybody has to go through these anxieties of life. But then, how are we managing? Because we know, Krishna, you want to give 25. You tried through this CM, okay, he is not able to, but it will come. Still, you will anyway give. So we have no anxiety because we are depending on God. So depend on something which is permanent. This is the secret of spiritual life. If you want to be free from anxieties, depend on something which is permanent. Now who is permanent in this world? Let us say I depend on my business partner, I depend on some friend, I depend on somebody, but he is not permanent. When your business is about to grow, suddenly partner may disappear, your friend may give hand. Nowadays, unfortunately, we cannot believe too many things. So, whom we can depend and believe nicely, that is only our Supreme Well-Wisher, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. He says, Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam. Krishna says, I am the Suhrud, well-wishing friend of everyone. If you are looking at a well-wishing friend in your life, that is Krishna. Every other friend, because of his own limitations, we cannot criticize anybody because of whatever limitations, they cannot permanently support us, help us. Better we depend on the Supreme Lord and do our duties to our best capacity. So that's why here these great sages. So depending on Krishna means that is called spiritual life. And if you practice spiritual life, and if you are spiritually, your well-being is there, automatically we assure you, your material well-being is also follows. Like a shadow, it will follow you. See, if you are happy and your mind is in a little stable position and all the things are in place, automatically you will do your duties nicely and things will automatically, it will come. Material well-being is assured. So this is the secret. So that's the sages know that. That's why they are saying, you first of all tell us, Ekantata Shreya, our ultimate good you please tell us. So spiritual life is our ultimate good. Spiritual well-being is our ultimate good. So if our souls are happy, automatically body will be happy, everything will be nice. So this is, that's why they are requesting Suta Goswami here. And please understand, this kind of an inquiry is very important. We should ask a lot of questions, particularly about our life. Asking questions about technology or many other things, that is one aspect. That is material questioning. Spiritual questions also we should have. Life questions they are called. For example, what is the ultimate good? Interesting question. One more question is, why am I suffering? Even if I do not want to. Actually, who wants to suffer? Although I don't want, it has been forced upon me. Why is this? What is this suffering means? What is happiness means? So these are all interesting basic questions. It's good to understand. Before we jump into happiness, first of all we should understand what is happiness. And then only we will be able to really go through that experience. Krishna is, through his devotees, he propagates, he gives this information that our ultimate good is reviving our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why here the sages are very humbly, they are requesting Suta Goswami, Prabhupada is mentioning here, Acharya and Goswamis are always interested in ultimate good of the people. This is a very important point. A sadhu or an acharya, like here you can see, our acharya parampara is there, Prabhupada is there, he is our acharya, he is the 32nd acharya of our ancient sampradaya. Hare Krishna, people, we belong to one ancient sampradaya called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Our sampradaya has begun from Lord Brahma, the first living entity. And it is said that it is coming through Madhvacharya, and in the Madhva Parampara there is one stalwart acharya called Madhavendra Puri, and from there this Gaudiya Sampradaya also came up. So Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya 32nd acharya is Srila Prabhupada. So his guru is known as 31st, his guru is 30th, like that. Who is the first guru then? The first guru is the Lord himself. The Lord has imparted the knowledge to Brahma, and from Brahma the knowledge has been descending into our world, this human society, and that's how today we are able to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. The knowledge which is hidden in Sanskrit, today we are able to understand, and that too the language in which we can understand, that is English, and also easily understandable way. Anjasa, Prabhupada has made it very easy. So that's why today we are able to sit and understand these ancient secrets of life, ancient secrets of God, Krishna, Narayana. These are very important. Otherwise, where is the hope? We will be struggling to hold on to something, but that is not fixed. So we'll all be living in great anxieties. So Krishna and Acharyas, they always thinking about ultimate good of the human beings. So Prabhupada, he always desired the ultimate good and well-being of the human society. When he went to America, at that time, there was one more guru also was doing some activity there. There are many gurus from India and from some other places, from Japan, or many gurus are preaching in America. So Prabhupada was there. There was one guru who said, yes, I will give you the ultimate benefit. I have a special mantra. This secret mantra is only for you, but you have to pay $30. So he started taking $30 for the mantra that he is giving, and he used to tell that disciple, this mantra is only for you and it is a secret, don't tell to anybody. And then he has to pay $30. So Prabhupada comes to know that there is someone who is charging money for this kind of a thing. So he said, if the mantra is so powerful, why not distribute free? People are suffering. Let there be ultimate good. Why you have to charge like this and then make it secret? Actually, there is one Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, and there is one stalwart Acharya, Ramanuja Acharya. You know, no? That Ramanuja Vigraha is also the statue of equality. Ramanuja Acharya's guru gives him this Narayana mantra. And he tells Ramanuja Acharya, see, this is a very powerful mantra. This is only for you. Don't reveal it to anybody. And whoever chants this mantra, they will all get liberated from the kleshas of this world, the miseries of this world. So this mantra is very powerful, this is for you. And then, after some time, Ramanujacharya goes to the nearby temple. He climbs on to the top of the Gopuram and he calls all the village people. And then he says, now I am going to give you one powerful mantra by which you can come out of all your miseries, you will get liberation, you can reach God, and then he gives away this Narayana mantra. Then the Guru calls him. He says, why did you do this? Ramanujacharya says, please forgive me that I have distributed this mantra. So let this mantra deliver all these people. And because I offended you, let me go to hell. Not an issue. One person, I will go to hell. But let all these people benefit by chanting this mantra. So this is the mood of our acharyas. A genuine acharya is interested in really solving the miseries of our life and bring happiness in the process. So in our sampradaya, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has appeared, and he had made this process very easy. He said, chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Chant, dance, and honor prasada. That's all. Our process is very simple. Now we are going to chant one round, and after that there is a arati and little bit of dancing, and then you are a little hungry and a little tired, have nice prasadam which will be given at the end of this session. That's all. Our process is very simple. Just by doing these three powerful things, just these three, one can transcend the day-to-day miseries of this life and feel happiness, internal happiness as he progresses in this life. So we'll stop here. Any questions?
Distracted by chanting that after finishing the chant, I have a sense of guilt that I was not able to focus because there are multiple things that are going in my mind. Does that mean that I am not sincere to what I am doing? One, and two, how do I overcome this?
Yeah, actually, when we initially chant, we will have very nice focus in the beginning. Very nice focus because the mantra is new and the process is new. So you are really carefully we are doing chanting. So this process of japa means chanting, that means producing the sound and then hearing. So when you start chanting and hearing, after some time, the first thing that you will see is that your mind is wandering. There is an introspection that comes into you. So it's actually an advancement. So don't worry that you are neglecting. As you go on hearing, then slowly you will observe that the mind is actually wandering. This is a realization. Our awareness is increasing. So, when the mind is wandering, now what should I do? Because ultimately we have to hear. So, Prabhupada gives one simple formula. He says, you enhance the sound of chanting. You have to enhance the sound of chanting. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. See, if you vary the sound, although mind is going here, there, it will come up. It will come back. So through the sound only you can control the mind. Just enhance the sound, suddenly then you will see the mind comes back. So more and more techniques of how to handle our mind will come to know, but this is the basic formula. The sound is powerful, the sound is non-different from Krishna. The sound what is coming now, Hare Krishna, that sound, that is non-different from the Lord. For the Lord, mind control or Any other control is not at all a problem. You know, God is great. God is very powerful. So, if you can nicely chant and somehow hear, then you will see all miracles happening in our lives.